What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the markets. I'm also going to talk about why Tesla is looking very bullish right now, despite the fact that we had some tough resistance and some big news that came out involving Elon Musk that's helping Tesla push. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends in just 3 weeks. Anyways, Tesla is very, very bullish. I actually thought that as we got close to 300, we'd have to be a little bit more careful because 300 was historically a tough resistance for Tesla. Same thing with like 310. But instead, Tesla has cracked past everything and it's hitting a phase where it's on a bull run, which means that it goes and goes and goes and goes, and it's like a train. It has so much momentum and it's not stopping here. So why did Tesla pump the way it did? We did have some bullish news that came out. It ended up surpassing the levels, which it did tend to reject at. So historically, if you go back to like July 2023, we rejected off 300. Our highs were also in October 2022 around this 310 zone. So we are at the highest we've been since like April of 2022. So we've surpassed the highs of 2023 and also for much of 2022 besides like the early period. And we've also broken the two major resistance areas, 300 and 310, like it was nothing. You know, when I was doing my analysis, I said to be careful at 300 to 310. I was thinking we might actually see a slowdown there before we try to continue to go higher. But instead, we just cracked past it like it was nothing. So that just goes to show how strong Tesla is. So in this case, we remain more bullish now. If the market does sell off just a little bit because of the fact that we have a holiday coming up, which tends to have less volume, um, it is possible it drags Tesla down just a little bit. We might see a little bit of a dip, but then overall, it remains very strong and very bullish. The small dip could just get bought back up, and Tesla could continue to break these highs and make new highs for the year over and over again. What's happening in the markets? We saw tech sell off today. This is what I was talking about yesterday in my video. I was expecting a sell off in tech, but the S&P 500 ended up holding up because of other sectors, not to mention the Nasdaq still held up as well. So some of these stocks did sell off, but the majority of ETFs are still holding up. Tesla also held up very, very nicely. Tesla's also surpassed the $1 trillion market cap. That's absolutely incredible news. Just goes to show how insane these buyers tend to be. Now, the fair value of Tesla has been calculated to be around the 260 plus area. So Tesla is well over that, which just goes to show how powerful this momentum tends to be. Does that signify there could be more dip buying opportunities in the future? Possibly, but that depends on different factors. I want to talk about what one of those factors is. So the reason why the market is rallying is because of the fact that we got some very, very positive remarks from different analysts, I think from like Deepwater and other places like that. We're very bullish on AI. On top of that, there was news that Elon Musk joined, at least he reportedly joined a call with President Trump and Zelensky, and they were discussing a lot of different things. Now, the reason why this is significant is because it just really shows us the relationship between Trump and Musk, which is very, very good right now. And I'm saying this because when you think about it, this could give Tesla an advantage when it comes to policy. Now, I'm not guaranteeing this, but it does give us an advantage because Musk now could just directly call Trump and just start negotiating deals. You know how significant that is for a CEO. That's huge news. Now, that doesn't guarantee anything, of course, but it is still, a big for Tesla. When it comes to the tax incentives and different factors like that, we'll see what Trump and his administration want to do when it comes to EVs. They may treat batteries a little bit differently, but if anything, it still remains very, very bullish for the long term for Tesla. For the short term, if they do end up cutting the tax credits or they end up getting rid of them for EVs, that could be a little negative for Tesla. Will it happen? Still a strong possibility, but we'll see if Musk can negotiate with Trump or if they come up with any ideas. Musk has said that it shouldn't be affecting Tesla too much. I do disagree with that. I think it will still affect Tesla, but Tesla's long term will remain very, very bright nonetheless. On top of this, I want to call out the fact that if there's tariffs and like shifts to tariffs, Musk has the ability to call Trump and kind of negotiate things. So what I mean by that is like if you look at Mexico, for example, right, we have the economic minister, who came out and he's saying that he wants to meet up with Elon Musk and discuss things, talk about if the projects are going to continue or not. I think that's very significant. But when it comes to whether or not they continue, this could be dependent on tariffs. Now, if tariffs are too aggressive, that could de-incentivize Tesla to continue to do what they want to do. I still think they're going to try to do it anyways. But Elon Musk can now pick up the phone and talk to Trump himself about some different ideas, different thoughts. He could even influence him to be a little bit less aggressive on particular tariffs. Just for example, right? This is just one example I just wanted to give you guys, but it just goes to show how important his relationship is, and why this is actually still bullish for Tesla. That's one of the reasons why. Trump's presidency is going to be very bullish for Tesla. So far, it's just starting its rally, and I think there's more potential moving forward. For next week, we're going to see the bonds market closed for Monday, which is going to be Veterans Day. However, Tesla, the stock market, options chain, equities market, the New York Stock Exchange, they're going to be open. So there's going to be some trading, but it's going to be a little bit with low volume, most likely, because of the bonds market being closed. Could that signify a small pullback? It's a possibility, but then we should continue to pump afterwards. Tuesday is very minor. We just have a couple of Fed speakers. Wednesday, we have CPI data coming out, with a bunch of Fed speakers. Thursday, we have Jerome Powell giving a speech and PPI data. And Friday is going to be a little bit more quiet. So I would say the bigger days are going to be Wednesday and Thursday, and we have Jerome Powell's speech and CPI. So just keep that in mind. As far as the market goes, greed is making up the majority of sentiment. We're not even at extremes now, so this could still continue to rally. The puts and call option ratio is now dipping as puts are being closed, and then these institutions are hedging by buying longs, which is pushing the market higher. This is what the earnings calendar looks like. It's very, very minor as well, nothing too significant. We just have like SoundHound and for the early days, like the Home Depot and a lot of retail. Then we have Disney on Thursday, but for the most part, very, very minor earnings for the week, nothing too crazy. Tesla's financials are showing that we're looking at a very, very big increase in revenue per share because of the fact that Tesla's valuation is going up. EPS has been a nice beat, nice earnings for Tesla historically. I just want to call that out. Tesla is doing a good job in that end. Also, we could look at different things such as like the PE ratio, which is very high right now. That's because of the fact that the share price once again is pushing. So what do I think about Tesla? It is possible because of the fact that we have a holiday. It might kind of dip a little bit with the market. It is possible we would kind of like retest 310, but then we could continue this rally quite easily now that we broke past 310 and 300, and we could be going all the way up to the 350 area. Tesla still has more potential, a lot of momentum, and it's still very, very bullish nonetheless. So even if we do get a small dip on Monday, it could continue to rally. SPY looks bullish. I think that there's no sign of it truly rejecting. We did get very close to 600, but I do want to call out the potential in a rejection. So it is possible we get a small little dip here, especially if you have these gaps to fill. We might fill at least one of these gaps. 595 could be retested. Could we go all the way down to like the 580s? I don't know about the 580s, but we might be dipping a couple of points just to cool off on the RSI before we continue to pump higher. So I remain bullish. I think the market's very bullish. It's going to be bullish for November and December. But for the short term, there could be a small dip on Veterans Day because there's going to be less volume before we could try to continue this rally. On ES, the same thing. We pumped very, very nicely, but just know this. We're at the very, very low 6,000 area. That's a tough resistance. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of cool off a bit right over here. We get a very, very healthy pullback before we continue this rally even higher. Bitcoin as well is starting to cool here. We do have a bearish divergence. It does tend to slow down when you see momentum dipping like this. So we might be dipping back down for like the 75,750 area or below before it tries to bounce. We're not up 10%, we're only up 0.7%. So it is trying to like fight some tough resistance. So that's something that's worth noting. Notice that Nvda is dipping as well just a little bit. We have this imbalance down here that might drag us a little bit lower, taking us down to 145. You might see a little bit of a dip on Nvda before it tries to bounce again. So keep that in mind. For others, we have NQ. This is forming a double top, but just know this, with tech slowing down a bit, it might try to push a little higher for just under 21,250 before it starts dipping lower, and we could be looking for a retest of 21,150 before we try to bounce. So keep that in mind. For the QQQ, we're just trading sideways here. We could actually dip closer to about 512.5 before we try to bounce again. So look out for that. For Aapl, we could be retesting. So it did have a red day as you predicted. It might come down to about the 225 area before it tries to bounce again. It's bullish. It's very bullish. Might get a little dip before it continues this rally. So keep that in mind. The IWM did dip a little bit, then it got bought back up. So I think it's just going to trade sideways in a range between 238 and 235. So look for some sideways price action to continue before it tries to rebound. Give it some time. And then for the rest of these, I'm going to spend more time going over these in my later video on Sunday. We might dip a little bit more on Amazon. We could be looking for a move down because Jeff Bezos is selling a lot of shares. 205 could be coming soon before it tries to rebound. Meta did dip exactly as predicted. Might come a little bit closer to 585, maybe a little bit below that before it tries to rebound again. This is still very bullish, this chart. So look for a small dip and continuation higher over the next couple of weeks. Microsoft is bullish. Might dip closer to like 420 before it tries to bounce again. Still bullish overall in the chart. Google might dip a little bit more. We did call this out. We might be getting closer to about 178 before it tries to bounce. So keep that in mind. The market is bullish. It's very, very bullish. So is Tesla. It is possible we see a little bit of a dip on Monday because of the less volume in the holiday, but then we should be bouncing later on nonetheless. With that being said, I thank you all for listening. Please have a great day, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Have a great weekend, guys, and I'll be back tomorrow with another one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.